Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 23rd of July. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And Gary, great to be having a bit of a fireside chat at number 15 Springfield Avenue in the heart of St Kilda East. A brilliant address.
Fabulous home, Philip, in a great location, one of my favourite streets in the area. You've got Carlisle Street just at the end, all the buzz and hum and cosmopolitan living. And the other end of the street, Philip, leads through to lovely, picturesque and serene Green Meadows Park, one of the wonderful haunts of my childhood. But Philip, it's interesting that you point out the fire, because for those that don't know, a bit of a secret about Philip Kingston, he is a man with pyromaniac tendencies. In fact, pre-real estate days, we worked together, Philip and I, in the restaurant industry. Well, it wasn't so salubrious actually. Where do we work, Philip?
The
Pancake Parlour. And
Lovely.
Phil one night as a young teenager decided to show up from his country days, his fire-making prowess, and he packed in a fire in the ground level at the Pancake Parlour to show off how to make this is how you make a fire, Gary showed me. And of course he ended up smoking out the whole restaurant, evacuating the place, fire engines.
120 people were asked to vacate the premises.
Yes, including us, to never come back again.
Needless to say that we had a very short-lived career as waiters. But
that's right. It's the reason we went into business, Phil, because we're absolutely unemployable.
I do like a good fire, and anybody that needs a warehouse burnt down,
that's great.
Just give me a call.
Fantastic.
And if the Federal Police or the Arson Squad are listening to it, it's just a joke.
Yeah, well, this is a beautiful home that we're in, Philip, and of course you can see some images on screen. We're looking forward to this auction, one of our favourites.
Fabulous house, Gary. Indoor swimming pool, 4 bedrooms, brilliant entertaining areas.
Fabulous
an
feel.
Absolute gem. Let's talk about the weekend, Gary, that was. I've got a new thing that I'm going to bring in. I haven't run this past you, so we're just going to run with it. We talk about the auction clearance results.
Yes.
There was a 70% clearance rate in Melbourne.
The industry can be proud of itself.
That's a good clearance rate for the industry. Having said that, at Gary Peer and Associates, we had 100% clearance rate. But wait!
Hang on, get those graphs up quickly.
No, we're not going to get the graphs up. Okay. Wait! There's more, because I've just got this interesting statistic. In Adelaide, Gary, there was a 52% clearance rate. In Brisbane, there was a 65% clearance rate. In Sydney, 81%. And interestingly,
Tasmania,
and this may well say something about the state of federal politics, Gary, because in Canberra dropped to a 52% clearance rate. So something's interesting is going on in Canberra. Clearly they're preoccupied with something, don't know what it is, but they weren't out buying houses. So we're going to put those charts and those towers up now so that we can see a national understanding of the real estate market.
Now, I don't know if it's appropriate, Philip, to introduce gambling in real estate, but you can actually go on Sportsbet and bet through Sportsbet on which state has the best clearance rate. So only in Australia, eh?
I've got to tell you, that is
a nation of gamblers.
Unbelievable that we can now bet on the state of the housing market.
Yeah, well, it might be better than the horse racing for me. Maybe I should stick to that.
Yes, and for those of you that don't know, Gary is sitting here a little bit the poorer because he did have a horse run yesterday in race number
2 in Echuca. Angel's Crown came third. Never mind. Still a placing. Let's keep going. We've got bells ringing off.
And for those of you that are wondering what those bells are, those are the bells of a beautiful clock in this house. So
fantastic. That's great.
Got it all happening.
You're
here
a fascinating guy.
TV.
Let's talk about the auctions of the weekend. Firstly, we started off on Saturday, Philip, down in Carnegie, a beautiful property down there.
Nice story to this. Look, this is a 1-bedroom apartment, and I love talking about 1-bedroom
Glen
apartments.
Huntly, actually, Phil. Hawson Avenue.
I love talking about 1-bedroom apartments on this show, Gary, because 1-bedrooms are the staple of first home buyers, but also great for investors.
And a bit of a litmus test of the market, I reckon.
Yeah. But investors, perfect. You put a 1-bedroom apartment in your portfolio. They're affordable. Most 1-bedrooms that we sell are between 270 and 350,000. We are starting to sell them now into the 4s, the bigger and the newer ones.
Yes.
This was a 1-bedroom apartment. This is an interesting story for us anyway, because the buyer arrived with a cup of coffee in hand.
Yes.
Hawson Avenue, Glen Huntly, which is just around the corner from Glen Huntly Road, Carnegie. Great little strip shopping centre, full of great cafes. He'd been in a cafe in Glen Huntly Road. He opened Saturday's Domain. So for those of you that think print media is dead, it is very much alive. If this guy hadn't have been in that cafe, hadn't have been reading Saturday's Age, he would not have come to this auction. Arrived coffee in one hand, bidding with the other, bought a 1-bedroom apartment as an investment.
A good story for Fairfax and the Age. And what do we get for that story? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
we will continue to advertise.
The truth is out there, Phil. It's not just the internet. So some people think think, oh, it's the internet only. Well, it's not, and that was proof.
Print does play a very large role, although, interesting to say, Saturday's Age is a declining part of print media.
But still relevant.
But the local papers have taken over, where Saturday's Domain has maybe left off a little bit.
But not on Saturday, Phil, because it produced the buyer, and the buyer was there at $300,000, which was above reserve in Hawson Avenue. Then in
Jeremy
Barclay
Rosen's apparently was on fire in
Barclay Street, St Kilda, apartment 2 at 287 Barclay Street, St Kilda, right in the hum and heart of it all. Adam Josky handled that property, but Jeremy auctioned it.
Together with Joel Sir, and Adam was saying in the sales meeting this morning what a great job Joel Sir did on handling that property. So well done, Joel.
$527,000 under intense competition.
Well over the
reserve, Philip, significantly and substantially. I got to see you do an auction on Sunday. I reckon you did all right. You went all right, Phil.
Thanks very much,
That was
Gary.
at number 50, Filbert Street, Caulfield
and it was,
South.
And I arrived at this property, Gary,
You arrived.
complete with my magnificent technological speaker system.
Ah, yes, it's fantastic.
Which packed up.
It
It was not working. So
No.
I did the first auction in many, many years just using my natural voice projection. Thank goodness it was inside, because I'm very proprietorial and protective about my voice.
you are.
That was a great family home. Gary, this is an interesting sale because, are we allowed to disclose the sale price?
can,
on this?
Phil,
Okay.
yeah.
So we were quoting 1.2 to 132.
Yeah.
Property went on the market at the top end of that
Yeah, it did.
range.
Yep.
Sailed all the way, here go the chimes again. Went all the way to $1,450,000, so well over the reserve. I've got to tell you, Gary, South Caulfield is on fire.
Yep. Three strong bidders, Phil.
And we've really seen over the last 6 months South Caulfield come back with a vengeance. It was pretty quiet in South Caulfield in 2011, 2012, but I have to tell you, for those viewers that are watching that are thinking about selling in South Caulfield, now's the time to act, because your market is well and truly alive.
In fact, we did say on GPTV about a year ago that it was a little bit soft there.
Yeah,
we didn't know why or understand why, and there was value in to go and buy there. So for those that did, they've done well. But it is always going to be a great suburb.
So we called it 12, 18 months ago. South Caulfield was soft. If you'd taken our advice as GPTV watchers and listeners, you would have made 15% on your money straight away.
There you go,
Pretty
Philip.
amazing.
Amazing. 33B Sebastopol Street in Caulfield North was our final auction of the day. Great address there, just near the Caulfield Primary School, right in the heart of Caulfield North. Phil, tell us about that.
Terrific property, Gary. This is the funny thing about auctions, because we had, of our 4 auctions, 3 were sold under the hammer and very competitively.
What's funny about this one?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
We arrived at the auction. I arrived at the auction. We both, by the way, just had the most magnificent coffee together at Einstein's Cafe. A little bit of footage coming up on screen now, just for fun. And maybe a free coffee when I come and have a lunch there next. Anyway, we arrived there, and big crowd. We took the auction inside because it was freezing. I reckon there was 100 people there. 3 parties there to buy it. Not one of them bid. Did not matter what I said or did. Could not solicit a bid. We passed it in at $1,100,000 on a vendor bid, and within minutes, one of the parties had stepped forward. We'd negotiated the sale to $1,210,000. And congratulations to that couple, because they have bought a fabulous home and beautifully built by Berman Homes, Gary.
It was beautifully built and well sold, and congratulations to you on a good post-auction negotiation there, Phil. We've got 5 auctions this weekend, another relatively quiet one for us, but one that we will enjoy nevertheless. We're starting off in Albion Street in Caulfield South, Phil. That one's at 11:30 a.m, and I think Leo is doing that auction.
Yes,
He's got the honours there. We're moving on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to 16 Alfada Street in Caulfield South.
And that is a big, fabulous family home, Gary.
I love that street, Devon Street. They don't come up often, but it's just off Glenira Road near the town hall.
Do you used to have
Devonshire
sandwiches?
No,
Devon sandwiches?
Devonshire
it's a kind
tea,
of
Phil.
meat product.
Is it?
So, yeah.
No, that sounds...
Don't suppose they
so good.
actually had a lot of Devon where you went to school?
No, probably not, Phil. Maybe in Cootamundra, Devon was a big thing.
Devon was a luxury item in Cootamundra.
Wow, right up there.
One day I reckon we should film GPTV in Cootamundra.
Yeah, you should.
For those of you that don't know where Cootamundra is, Central Riverina, New South Wales, where I was born, and so was Don Bradman.
He was. Was he born or did he live there?
I think he was born there.
Fair dinkum.
And it's also the home of Australia's best wattle.
Yeah.
So I've got to tell you, there's a reason to book your next holiday in Cootamundra.
You'd be lucky to get in there.
Maybe we could get that up on screen somehow on Google.
Best wattle.
And show you where I went to school, the Cootamundra Primary School and the Cootamundra High School. It's like sitting in a church here, Gary.
It's very holy, Philip. Let's talk about 15A Lockhart Street, Sunday at 12:30. And I'm doing that auction. Ooh, It's another
You
tune
know, there's
there.
a cuckoo about to come out.
He's going to come out and peck us.
You right
That's
in the
right.
side of the face.
12:30, Phil. It's a fantastic townhouse in Lockhart Street, Caulfield, somewhere around that $1 million mark. I'm doing that auction,
You
Phil.
are doing that.
And I'm feeling
look,
good about
a
it.
note to my PA, Christy Matthews, if you're watching this show, next time you book a house for GPTV, you've got to ask the cuckoo cock question to the vendors.
Yeah.
Do they have one? Because we just can't suffer through all of this noise again,
I
Christy.
like it. I like the chimes. Phil, 1:30 p.m. is our finish on Sunday to our auctions. Phil, you're in Dorgan Street.
I am, and I love Dorgan Street, Gary, because a lot of viewers might not know that there is a pocket park in Caulfield North, and a pocket park is
Philip.
the way we describe a small park.
Did you
A
make
little
that
pocket park? I did actually.
Pocket
Well, we
park.
call him the pocket park. A little
Yeah, put it
pocket
in your
park on the
pocket.
corner of Dorgan Street and Kooyong Road.
Yes.
We've got a villa there that looks directly over the park. So
The
whilst
pocket
it has a
park.
gorgeous courtyard,
Yes.
you can walk out your front door and go and pop into the pocket park. Try saying that after a few drinks.
No chance.
But it's a really good villa, and we're expecting somewhere in the early to mid sixes there, Gary.
Well, we've got a big weekend, Philip, in terms of quality. Not a big volume, but it is all happening in winter, ladies and gentlemen. There's plenty of demand. 100% clearance doesn't get much better than that.
Before we go, I mean, we are in the middle of winter, Gary, and let's just bring a little bit of football into it. How amazing was it watching Gold Coast beat Collingwood on the
Excuse me,
weekend?
what about Friday night for me?
What,
Going
Carlton
to see Carlton,
beating North Melbourne
Oh,
by-
1
by-
point.
What is wrong
Heart
with
attack.
North Melbourne? What are you doing? I've got to
Yeah.
tell you, I think Mr.
Sad.
Scott, the coach of North Melbourne, you need me to come in and give them a bit of a rev up before the game, because clearly what you're doing making no difference.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, last week we were at Illy's. We thank Illy for that again. I've got to tell you though, Phil, my son, 16 years old, young Daniel Pierce, says to me, watches GPTV, and he asked me a question, and I didn't know how to answer him, because he said, Dad, what's real estate got to do with Illy making cakes? And quite frankly, I had no answer.
Clearly, your son is intellectually challenged, but then given the fact that he is part of your gene pool, lucky you've done well, Gary, and you can afford to look after your children.
Yes.
Because if that's the sort of question that you're asking, Daniel, clearly
How would you
you've,
have
got,
answered
you've
that?
got to get out of bed earlier in the morning. Stay tuned, Daniel, for the next episode. I will answer your question.
Oh, we'll look forward to that. And by the way, next week, Phil, if all comes together as planned, we've got a very interesting mystery guest. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, now that's going to be an interesting GPTV, because if this man does come on GPTV,
it'll add legitimacy to
I've
our
got
show.
to tell you, it adds complete legitimacy to this show. And quite frankly, I'm a bit surprised that he's agreed to come on.
I don't think he's seen it ever. I don't think he knows.
Clearly he's never watched it, but
Anyway,
stay tuned next week.
mystery
If
guest,
this
a big
man
one.
does come on, clearly we are onto something with this show, because people are now ringing us up, going through my PA, Christy Matthews, saying, what do we have to do to get on the show? Michael Bublé is not the guest next week, but no doubt his people will be calling out
somebody
people.
more important. We're looking forward to hopefully getting that together for you. It's all happening out there. Thank you for tuning
Gary,
in
it's
to
been
GP
fun today.
TV.
We've had fireside chats. We've discussed racing. We've discussed your
Football.
kids. We've discussed football. We've
Cooking,
discussed
cakes.
Cooking. And next week, can't wait to have a much more serious show. So thanks again for watching. I'm Philip Kingston. Have a great week.
I'm still Gary Peer, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.